The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
Hello and welcome to another Video Games to the Max, number 164. And, well, I do want to say that partially the reason why it's been a month since we've done this show is Hurricane Irma basically made it to where for a week I didn't have power or be able to do anything else. And then after that, just schedule conflicts and things like that. So... but we are here, and Mark, how are you?
I'm all right. You should have been sitting in a generator in your apartment, podcasting away the hurricane.
Yeah, I mean, we did have a generator, but it was like, I'm in a house with so many other people. It's open. The area we were sleeping in is open, and it's like anybody can walk in at any moment, and it's kind of awkward. So
Yeah,
it's like you don't want the person that has no idea what you do, and they walk in, they go, "Hey, how you doing?" And you just keep talking, and they have no idea what it is. It's funny.
You just hold to a sign saying I'm podcasting. Leave me alone.
Yeah, exactly the whole time. But yeah, so thankfully, where I live did not get hit too hard by the hurricane, so we're good. Actually, pretty much all of Florida skated the bigger impact of it, but gotta go, just gotta say my heart goes out to those in Mexico that keep getting hit by the earthquakes over and over. That's just awful stuff. But let's talk about, I guess, more cheery things, and including the games that we have been playing for the past month or so.
It's only been a month.
Yeah.
I've been playing a lot, actually. Yakuza Kiwami on PS4. Windjammers on PS4. You grabbed that for me. I picked up Nier Automata on Steam, and I like that. It's kind of weird. Escapists 2 is more Escapists, and I've been trying to play Divinity Original Sin 2. And I got a Vita for free.
So how is Divinity Original Sin 2? Is it?
It's about as complicated as the first one. Like, there's a lot of. It's a good 21st century version of like Neverwinter Nights, like party-centric RPG, but like environmental, and like the environment interacts with spells and stuff. So like you can create a rainstorm covering a few enemies, and then you can cast lightning down, and because all the enemies are now wet, they all get shocked from it. Or you can you can throw like an oil barrel at an enemy. The ground will become oil covered, and then you can light the ground on fire with like a fire arrow, and all the enemies like get on fire. And you can also teleport enemies into these things, so that's kind of fun.
So you were telling me that the environment interacts with itself, basically.
Yeah, like you can create rain in the game, like whenever you have a mage, and if you cast like an electricity spell after that, since enemies are not considered wet, they get shocked. Or you can create like an oil puddle on the ground, and you can shoot like a fire arrow into it, so the ground becomes like lit on fire, and then later on you can just teleport enemies into the fire, so they get really screwed up.
So how much have you done that then? Just because I would just seem like I would just have a lot of fun just shooting arrows at the oil and wanting them to explode.
I've been playing about 7 hours, so I'm not that far. I have a feeling it's a long game. The first one was long too. It has some really. The writing is better than the first one for sure, but it still has some really quirky inventory stuff. Like every character has their own inventory, and then there's like an equip option and a inventory option, and it's like, why aren't these two things just one thing? Or why is there 4 different inventories for characters? I mean, it makes sense because like, oh, you want to have the archer have all the arrow crap, but it gets very tedious to go, okay, you pretty much pick one character to play with, or at least I do, and then I pick up everything with that one character. So every 10 minutes I have to go, okay, send all this warrior crap to him because I'm playing a mage character and hope for the best.
So you're saying, so you don't know much about, does it like continue on from the story from the last game, or is it separate?
I think it's supposed to take place like hundreds of years after the last game. I didn't play the last game too much. It was a little too hardcore for my tastes. And I got a feeling this one's shaping up to be kind of the same thing. But I had this to review now, so I should actually try to get through it as much as I can.
Well, hopefully you enjoy it more than you seem to the first one. That was the same thing with me. I was sort of intrigued, but I kept looking at it, and I was like, wow, this is a lot.
Yeah, like, I think it's a great game. I think it's like the highest reviewed game on the PC platform right now, currently, like for this year. Like, it's a like deep and unforgiving game, which there aren't too many of those out anymore, so I give it credit for that, but it could do slightly easier trying to ease you into it. And, like, the map system is insane, also.
So how does that work?
Like, you just have a map, which is fine, but every time you get a bunch of side quests and stuff, and even after you complete the quest, the marker stays on the map. So you just have to remember to cycle through all these markers that don't make, like, I already talked to this guy, completed his quest, like, the marker can go away now, like, it's fine.
That seems like something they could just change with a patch, though. Like, just...
Yeah, you'd think, but they haven't yet.
Probably, and not enough people have complained yet or something. That seems really annoying. Like, if I'm completing a quest, I don't want to see the marker for the same quest I just completed already. It's like... Because if you go a while without playing, like, let's say you go a whole day, you might forget that, oh, crap, I already did that quest.
Yeah, or it's like, I already talked to this Griff guy. Like, I don't need to talk. Like, he's not going to tell me anything more I need. Like,
right,
all he's going to do is sell me stuff. Like, it's fine. But yeah, good game, good writing, and like a lot better characters than the first one, at least, too.
Well, that's a plus. And the first one was one of the highest rated games on PC as well. So no surprise that this one is too. This one came straight onto the consoles from day one, right? Or is it?
No, it's PC for now. It'll come to consoles, I assume, eventually.
Ah.
That console one, it is like weirdly priced on consoles because I think it was on sale a few weeks ago for like $15 on PSN, which is fine. Like I mean, I already have it for PC, so I'm gonna buy it, but that's fine. But I think at GameStop it's like $35 for a used copy. And it's like, no,
you know, what's the price like regularly? 60?
I mean, not anymore,
right?
Because it's a few years old. I would assume it's just like 40, maybe even like 20.
And it's probably one of those like where the physical copy was limited or something.
Yeah, well, there's no new copies on Amazon, but a new copy for Xbox One is 20.
It's not bad.
Yeah, but yeah, good game.
Yeah, there's always gotta be that markup,
Yeah.
But yeah. So, anything else?
Windjammers is fine. There's no one playing it online, so
that's not surprising.
Trying to write a review for a game that should be dominated by online players, but the only time people ever play it as online is when Giant Bomb or Xavier Woods say, "I'm playing Windjammers, get online."
It seems like it was made sort of for that crowd too. Like, hey, we're just happening to be putting this on PS4. Hope someone plays it.
Yeah. The other two games I'll talk about are Escapists 2, because I was forced to review then offer Adam. I don't like that game. Like, I can recognize it's a good game and it's popular and it appeals to a certain crowd, but I get nothing out of it. I don't know how to play it well at all. I find the mechanics to be really frustrating, and I just don't like it. Like, I'm supposed to write a review, and it's not going to be a review because I even told them, like, I don't know how to review this game since it does nothing for me.
So, did they add anything different from the first game to?
Well, I think the first game played it a little more straight with, like, the prison system. Like, you're just in a prison, like, or, you know,
Right.
you pick different prisons, and they're all different layouts and stuff. This one, there's only, like, 6 prisons available at the start, and they're all, like, except for, like, one is pretty normal, and then one is, like, you're on a moving train, and you have to escape before the train reaches the destination of the whatever. Another one is, like, you're in like a work camp, and a few of them, like, I haven't unlocked them yet, but one is like a future prison, and one is you're like a prisoner in space.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you get out of that?
I don't know. I haven't unlocked it yet. You have to, like, escape all the other ones first to get, like, access to it. But, like, there's, like, a whole crafting system where it's like, oh, if you take a sock and a bar of soap, you can combine it into, like, a sock maze or something. But nothing in the game, like, there's one menu for how to, like, to show you what you can craft. But the game should tell you, like, yo, you have a sock and a bar of soap in your inventory, you can create this mace. Like, you shouldn't have to look that up. And it should, like, light up in the menu or something. Like, you have these inventory items in your possession. You can create this type of stuff right now. Like,
so does it have you just do trial and error? Or
yeah.
is there not even any? Yeah.
It's trial and error. Or you have to, like, look, like, each crafting menu, because there are different levels of crafting, like, based on your intelligence. Like, the more intelligent you are, the more craft you can craft. But it's separated by, like, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 knowledge rating. But once you hit 60, it's not, like, once you hit 60, there's, like, 25 or 30 things that display in the menu. And you have to, like, there's no search or anything, so you have to go, oh, I want to create a bedroom like a bed dummy. Like, how do I, like, where is this thing I need to create, and how do I do it? Like, there's no search at all. So, yeah, it is kind of trial and error.
So it doesn't let you say, okay, select the thing you want to create and then tell you if you have the items or not?
I mean, if you can find it, then it does tell you. Like, you need 2 pillows and a blanket. But you have to actually find it first, and you're hunting these very small square-looking icons for it, and you're not even sure which like menu it's in under. So it can just get, like, tedious after a while.
So the menu system is not.
No, it's bad.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and that's the thing. If you're going to have a crafting system and that's going to be the main part of your game,
that should
the
be better.
menu system has to be much more understandable. You know, easy to understand, easy to navigate, easy to figure out how you make this item.
I've been playing on PC also, and a few times, like, after, like, if I close the game and reload it, like, after, it gets done playing for a while, the crafting menu will be bugged out, which is more fun.
Oh, Lord, that seems like a bigger ordeal, but that sucks to hear you're not enjoying something you have to review. Those are the worst.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully you find things to write about, because those are, when you're not having fun with something, it's the worst thing to have to sit there and write about. But
The final thing is Yakuza Kiwami. I also didn't like that too much.
I remember you talked about that the last time we had
Yeah,
a show.
I got way further into it. Like I didn't beat it yet. I don't really care to. But the battling is just not fun, and there's just a complete absence of stuff to do, which is a bummer.
That's weird that it's not fun. Isn't it based off of the Yakuza Zero battle system?
Yeah, but uh, like you play as Kiryu in this game only, and his fighting system is not fun at all. It's
Yeah,
like
his gets kind of boring after a while.
Yeah, it's very slow. He has like three main fighting styles. One is slow and good. One is kind of passable, and like his quick style sucks.
Yeah, you either have to do I guess I was used to pink one.
Yeah, that's the quick one. I never liked that one.
I thought the blue one was even faster, but maybe that's in Zero. And then he has that bear one.
That's the one I always use.
Yeah.
I use that because but you can pick up weapons quickly, and I always like hitting people with bikes.
Oh, well, yeah, getting to throw stuff at them is one of the fun things, but yeah, that's kind of disappointing to hear that they went through all this to bring it over and remaster it, sort of, and then it's not that fun.
Well, you don't play as Majima at all. He's actually like an enemy in the game, and you know those Mr. Shakedown guys from Yakuza 0?
Mm-hmm,
He's basically like that. Like he pops up constantly, and you have to like keep fighting him, like over and over. That's where some of the fun actually comes in, because some of it's really goofy in a pretty funny way. Like one is like he's a taxi driver, and or one is you go on a hostess date, but he's the hostess. He's like in drag.
That's
and another is like he stages like a zombie invasion, or he's like just in zombie makeup, and you're running all away from him, and then you have to keep fighting him. Like that's fun, but like they took out so many of the side activities in the game, and they didn't replace them with anything else. So, like walking around the town feels like really empty.
That's the best part, is walking around the town and doing stuff.
Yeah, like there's the two arcades in Kamurocho, I think that's what they call the city. The two Sega arcades, like just like in Yakuza 0, and there's no arcade games in them. There's just weird. Like a claw game, this photo booth that's really dumb, and this like weird, like the wrestling game from Yakuza 0. I don't know if you saw that or not.
Oh, the one with the girls and the...
Yeah. Basically, it's the same thing, except now they're dressed up as like beetles and bugs. But it's still like playing rock, paper, scissors. And that's it. And it's like, why are these arcades here if you can't do anything in them?
That's disappointing.
Like, it's the same map as Yakuza 0, or except for like they added like the big building in it, and they changed it like a tad, but like it's a $30 game, and Yakuza 0 was $60, but Yakuza 0 also had like at least double the content, so it's worth that.
You get what you pay for.
Yeah, like it's double the game at least. So if you're gonna get a Yakuza game, get that one instead.
Yeah, certainly. If you haven't played a Yakuza game, don't start with this one. Just play 0.
Even I played Yakuza 0, and I still had to look up crap in this game, like how to equip a weapon, because the game didn't tell me.
Yeah, it seems
like that's bad design.
Yeah, it should tell you how to pick up a weapon. You shouldn't have to guess.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
And I got a Vita. That's about it.
Anything on the Vita?
There's Burnout Dominator, the PSP game. I think Lego Harry Potter, I want to say that may be PSP also, and an Earth Defense game. So
Sounds like
I'm
a
all
wonderful lineup there.
well. I got it for free, so I can't complain.
You got a memory card for it yet?
Just 8 GB. It was game included.
Ah, okay.
Like that's, I would say like that's one of the biggest reasons the Vita failed is that memory card system sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so glad that Nintendo, starting with the 3DS, realized that you don't need to have a proprietary Nintendo card. Just go get whatever memory card's out there, put whatever memory you want on there, that up to whatever it supports, and you don't have to pay a ridiculous price.
I mean, yeah, but the PSP had a regular memory card slot. I think it was SD or maybe like Sony memory, but still, like that's, you can go to any store and buy that. Like,
Right.
it's not some like super proprietary bullshit.
I think they thought the Vita would just sell like hotcakes and no one would really care about the fact that you couldn't really buy a third-party memory card. And then when you're sitting there, and yes, there are really good games for it, and you have the crossplay and all that stuff. Not saying the Vita's bad, just that's one of those things that when you're trying to, it's basically like deciding, okay, do I want a game, or do I want to buy? Do I have to go buy this more expensive memory card instead, and then
Yeah.
start buying games? And because especially now, physical versions of these games are becoming more and more scarce.
Yep.
So you have to buy everything digitally, so it means you have to have the bigger memory cards. And I mean, yeah, you can delete stuff you're not playing, but it seems like a hassle.
Yeah, this Vita also is like on a super old firmware, so I'm really trying to decide if I should like update it normally or like just hack the thing.
I would think that update would be good for it.
I mean, yeah, but apparently there's some weird memory card adapter that just takes like micro SD cards if it's hacked.
Well, I mean, if you can figure it out, I guess why not?
Yeah. But that's about it for me.
But will it keep it from updating regularly if you do that then? Or?
Yeah, but it's not like updates are coming for the Vita anyway. I mean,
that's true. But couldn't you just go ahead and update it to whatever the latest thing and then hack it?
No, it's I looked it up. The latest firmware is 3.65, and you can't downgrade it. And the hacked firmware is like 3.60. So there is kind of a limit there. Which is fine. I mean, do what you do, but
right.
I'm just not quite sure, like, what's the advantage versus disadvantage of each thing.
Just want to say that we do not endorse hacking of any kind here. We are just talking.
I do, but
whatever Mark decides to do on his own personal time.
Like, I'm not going to be, like, I don't think there's like a big piracy set on the Vita though. Like,
yeah,
this will just be like for like old emulation or just kind of screwing around.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, you're not doing anything like crazy with it, so.
Or getting that like memory card adapter to work.
Yeah, you still bought your memory card, and you still bought this memory card adapter, so it's not like you're just tacking into to get memory or something.
Yeah.
But yeah. Go ahead. Anything else?
No, that's about it for me.
Well, one of the things, and we'll talk about it in a little bit, the Sony had their Tokyo Game Show press conference. One of the things announced in it was that Final Fantasy IX was out that day. I got it last night. It's the port of the PC version, which I also have.
Yeah, but, that's why I asked you like a few hours ago when you said you were playing it. I was like, don't you already have this? And you're like, yeah.
I do, but it's so much easier to have it on my PS4, and then I can still do stuff on my computer. But yeah, it's Final Fantasy IX. It's nice. The characters look much better in HD form, and you can see the backgrounds a tad better. It's still still PS1 graphics. So, but probably my second favorite Final Fantasy, so it's nice. And you got a cool, like, hand-drawn theme, and now it plays the Final Fantasy IX song when I boot up my PS4, so that's nice. There's like 3 games that I'm playing. 2 of them are for review, and then one of them I bought myself, which will wind up being a review at some point. Senran Kagura Peach Beach Splash, which is basically it, it is them doing some kind of special tournament thing, and it turns into a water gun game.
I, s- I saw a trailer because I was asked to review that for a different site, and my response was, "This looks like a ghetto Splatoon."
Basically, is what it is. Yeah, you don't have the inking or anything like that. You're basically just shoot. It's basically like a shooter, but it's water guns instead of, uh, bullets. And it's basically just multiplayer. It's not multiplayer. You can use due to multiplayer. There's a multiplayer where you can play online and stuff like that. But the single player mode actually has a story mode, and you pick between the 4 different. Oh God, what do you call it? The 4 different families, which have all the the different girls in the separate families. The If you watch the anime, the Hanzo family are the main characters of that anime, and then you get to see some of the other ones throughout that. But yeah, I mean, to be fair, like as much as they get a lot of crap, and I'll get into the why they get a lot of crap in a second. But to be fair, most every time they've done one of these where they bring this series out and they bring out a game for it, it's actually okay. Like the the Musu style Dynasty Warriors take on it, the Estival Versus, which is on PS4 and PC, is actually a pretty good Dynasty Warriors game. The music game that got released on PC, which I don't remember what it's called now, is actually a pretty decent music game, rhythm game, but you use the controller. You don't have a peripheral. This is okay. It's not. Don't expect to have any high level, depth here. There's like a card game thing to it where you can pick your special abilities through these cards that you unlock when you complete a level, and each one of the families has like a 10 mission story mode that you can do, and there's like a little bits of story in between the missions and stuff. And then other than multiplayer, that's about it. The worst part is every one of these games has a dress up thing that you can play with and mess with their attire and stuff like that. And of course, you unlock different attires. You can also there's DLC for attires. And I don't remember this being in the other games. Obviously, the music game had its own ways to kind of be exploitative, but this is just I don't know. Look, I don't want to get into the whole like I try to as a person who watches anime and loves Japanese culture, I try to understand this stuff as much as I can, but you got to be if you have kids. If for some reason you buy this game, which this is another thing, I don't know why somebody would buy this, but if you're buying this game and you have kids and or a wife, not a game you want to play around them at all, because if you get into the dress up part, there's a section where they allow you to pretty much do whatever you want to them, groping them and grabbing their boobs and stuff, and they act all embarrassed, sort of not. So it's
Yeah.
weird, but yeah,
Now I got to start playing the Galgun series.
yeah. But aside from that, I've also been playing the Warriors All Stars game, which is basically it's all the characters from Koei Tecmo's history and Team Ninja in one. Not all of them, obviously the ones from DOA, you don't have all the characters, but you have most of the main characters, like Ayane and Kasumi, and Ryu from Ninja Gaiden is in here. It goes up to Neo, the main character, I forgot his name, William from Neo, I think is the most recent guy that's in this. But yeah, it's a Musu game pretty much. So if you played any other freaking Musu game, Dynasty Warriors game, it's like that. It's cool to have that team up, I guess, and like I use Ryu, Ayane, and William, and you can pick. I think the whoever you pick as the main character, they have their own set of their set side person, and then you get to pick a third character, and then as you expand through the missions, you can unlock 2 more characters you can add to your party, and you can have 5 people in your party. And yeah, I mean, if you like those games, this is another one of those like you really can't go wrong with, and having all those characters in one game is pretty good. So
Yo, what
uh,
about Lu Bu, man?
I don't know if you probably do unlock Lubu, but I haven't gotten to him yet. So
That's the extent of my Dynasty Warriors knowledge.
and of course I have Mario plus Rabbids for the Switch, which this is I think one of the best games on the Switch, one of my favorite games on the Switch. I'm not a big I like Fire Emblem, fair enough, and I like strategy RPGs here and there. But this is actually it gets hard even for a Mario title. So if you're a strategy game person, I think you'll definitely enjoy this. And then it like has just the Mario parts of it where you can run around the open world and go through different like pipes and tunnels, and you get through the red coin thing if you want, where it'll hide the red coins in that area, and you can go find them, and you have a certain amount of time, and you get unlock stuff. I mean, you just have to keep leveling up, and there's a whole not a crafting, but like an unlock system where you can keep buying weapons and stuff and keep upgrading them. And the Rabbids are really funny. I enjoyed them with their they don't talk, but they have their own little ways of communicating, and just I only have the Peach and Luigi. I'm still kind of pretty early. I'm in like still in World 1, but there's various like sections of it, kind of like the Mario game where it's like 1-5, 1-6, whatever. And then once you complete that, you get a different like you can unlock. You can't jump, but you can use your other character to jump, and you can unlock other abilities as you go on through the world. It's like seriously, I think it's definitely if you're a strategy game person, and even if you like Mario and you're willing to kind of just try something new with Mario being there, I definitely think you should check it out. I thought Ubisoft did a great job on this.
Yeah, I watched a review of the game, and they said that their 2 complaints were that they didn't like the non-battle section at all, which I thought was interesting. Because it's just kind of empty. I don't know if you feel
Yeah,
that way or not.
I mean, you'll see funny stuff with the Rabbids just doing random stuff, or kind of you'll see some jokes here and there that you can kind of tell what's going on, and they have like a museum and stuff like that. But yeah, it's not full. It doesn't feel lived in or.
Yeah, and the other complaint I saw was unlike XCOM, the battles aren't randomized.
No, yeah, they are definitely. There are battles that are not like part of the story that you can do just to level up and stuff, but
No,
yes, they
oh, go on.
no, they're set. Like you walk through a certain area and there's gonna be a battle. Like, and there's really not a way to avoid it either.
No, more what they were talking about is let's say you do a battle and you fail. If you restart the battle, the enemy takes the same moves over and over. So you can kind of break the AI that way.
Oh, there's a pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't had to restart a battle yet. I've gotten really close where I've almost had all my characters die. And that will happen frequently, let me tell you.
Yeah.
You need to come in prepared and kind of do have a strategy and know what you're doing, because they will come and kill you if you don't. So That's what I do appreciate. They didn't dumb this down for being on Nintendo system. This
No, I mean,
feels like a strategy game.
yeah, it's essentially. I mean, this is gonna sound pejorative, but it's not really meant to. But it's like baby's first XCOM. Like, if
Yeah,
you like
yeah.
this one, get into XCOM.
Right, it's probably like, halfway between how hard XCOM is and how hard just, being at the beginner level of something is.
Yeah, and like the only other game I talk about I haven't played it is like I want to play that Marvel vs. Capcom game.
That looks interesting. I heard the story's not good, though.
Yeah, the story looks bad, and everything else in the game looks kind of bad except for the fighting. But I'm still morbidly curious.
That
Like,
sucks, though.
I saw the video. I saw videos, and the game just has. It looks like it has like no personality whatsoever. Like, which is a bummer.
That really is a bummer, because, that's what I was sort of intrigued by, is will the story be good? And,
Like,
I like fighting enough, but...
Like, I'm not the biggest like fan of Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Like, I think this is a good game, but the menus were good, or like animating between this looks like a comic book. Like, that's cool looking. This is like black background and gray text boxes. It's like, wow, this is the most like placeholder shit in the world, guys. Come on. Like, it's better than like Street Fighter 5, but that's not saying much.
That makes me sad.
I'm chomping at the bit to play that Dragon Ball Z game.
When does that come out?
I think next year, maybe. It might be this year though. I can look it up.
I think it's next year, but probably like spring next year or something.
Oh no, I mean it's February.
Okay.
But that's still pretty soon. It's
because they just announced it at E3, and then it's already coming out soon.
Yeah,
that's pretty quick. They'll have to battle with Far Cry 5, but they'll be fine.
Don't worry, anime fans and white supremacists are same ballpark.
God, don't want to get in trouble with that, but yeah, that story. Whenever that game comes out, there's gonna be a lot of people. Making that comparison, but yeah, let's get into there's plenty of stuff to talk about since it's been a month since we've done this. Nintendo has had 2 directs in that time, and of course Sony has their TGS press conference that they did as well that we'll get into here. The things that they announced, which some VR stuff for this as well, but the big thing is that Square-Enix is making another. It's in the ecosystem, but it's not being called Front Mission. It's called Left Alive. It takes place between Front Mission 5 and another one of their Front Mission games, and that's pretty cool. I like Front Mission. I'm not the biggest huge fan of it, but I like the fact that they're sort of bringing this back. It's between the 5th game and Front Mission Evolved, and it's set in 2127. There's 3 playable characters. The story basically bounces around between the 3 of them. And yeah, there's mechs and weapon crafting and all that sort of thing. Are you interested?
No, well, partially because I didn't know it was like related to Front Mission. I thought it from what I read, it was supposed to be they're taking like a Metal Gear game because it has the artist from Metal Gear and it has the director from Armored Core. And the trailer looks like dude with machine gun or assault rifle gunning down mechs. So
that looked awesome, by the way.
I guess we will see.
Yeah, I will be keeping an eye on this. It's funny because Tabata did say that I think they just had an interview with the guy that's involved with Armored Core, saying he'd love to make another sort of Armored Core game, and then here they are making this. So
Yeah, and then Dark Souls happened and Demon Souls, so they're never making an Armored Core game again.
let's hope not. That'd be nice to see that franchise come back. Monster Hunter World is coming out not too far away, January 26, 2018. So you'll be getting to play that quick. Of course, it's for PS4. If you get the digital deluxe edition, you'll get a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, course. Like back or Steelbook and a book of art and soundtrack and all the usual crap.
And they just started pre-orders this week, so you can go ahead and pre. Are you interested in this at all? I'm sort of, just because the graphics look awesome and just being able to see those characters in.
I guess I'd give it a shot. Like, I never played a Monster Hunter game before, but I've heard like this is supposed to be a somewhat more approachable one. So we'll see.
Yeah, this is supposed to be more like an RPG and less full-on Monster Hunter-y. So,
I mean, that's a franchise keeping Capcom alive at this point, but
yeah, I'd love to see one of these on Switch, whether it's the Stories one or this one kind of with not as great graphics. Would be nice to see, just because I feel like that. I'm used to them being on 3DS, and I played one of them on 3DS, and it was fine. It was so obtuse. There was a lot of stuff in there.
Wasn't one of them on the Wii U?
Yes. One of them was on the Wii, and there's also another on the Wii U.
Yeah.
Of course, the Zone of Enders, the second game, is getting remastered, and it's going to have VR support. So, hey, you can be in a big robot-ish thing, mech, and fly to there in VR. That's pretty cool.
The hot new game from Konami.
I thought Zone of the Enders 2 was better than the first one. I liked both of them, but it wasn't something that I was like, oh, this was something that I'm just loving to play again.
Yeah.
Noct is going to be in Final Fantasy NT, which I think everybody pretty much expected that. They were not going to make that game without Noct being there. Dragon's Crown is coming to PS4. Another game that I liked well enough on PS3. I don't know if I'll buy it again.
I never played it. I've heard it's like really strange.
It's like a beat 'em up that also has like RPG elements and stuff like that. It's made by the same people that made Odin Sphere.
Okay.
So it has that kind of design. It has really, really good art style and everything else. Of course, the thing that people notice the most is the wizard chick with the boobs hanging out. But all the characters are actually really good and everything. It's just, I don't know. I kind of got bored with it after a while, but it's good to play through once.
Yeah.
And then there's a bunch of VR stuff, as well as a cat collecting sim, because why not? This is apparently one of the biggest franchises in Japan, and so you should bring it to VR. Are you interested in this musical festival thing? It has music from Gravity Rush.
No, because the music kind of does nothing for me from Gravity Rush, and also like their Sony's VR initiative seems to have kind of flatlined, I think, or it doesn't seem like as like VR as a whole doesn't seem like as important as it should be, or like as vibrant or out there.
It's so weird because it's like they have games come out every week for that thing,
Yeah,
and I think it was Riggs, that was the first one to finally be on PS Plus, and I know there's good stuff for it. Like, Daniel will tell me that he's been playing this game and it's been really good and everything. It's just the whole setup of the thing seems very annoying, and it's like unless you have two PS4s and one of them is solely for PSVR where you don't have to
yeah,
mess with it at all, maybe.
yeah.
But still, you're still asking people to pay $400, $500 for something, and yeah, I'm not saying that it's hanging on by a thread, because obviously what Oculus and Vive are doing is going on pretty well, but they are certainly not hyping up the VR component much at all.
No, not at all. Yeah,
It's good that they're making games for it and that people are making games for it, but it seems like Sony itself, I think, is understanding that, okay, great, this sells, but it's still not our main direction, and it's not going to be.
yeah,
I think that's it for Sony. They had an interesting conference. I mean, some of that stuff we don't even know if it's going to come over here or not, but still good to see that some of these things got release dates and got Final Fantasy 9 on PS4 out of it. So not going to complain much there. Nintendo also had a direct, which was full of stuff. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 has a release date December 1st of this year. Good God. As if, not that I'm going to, but if for some reason you are going to buy Skyrim on the Switch and you wanted to put, a bunch of hours into that on November 17th, and less than a month after that, here comes Xenoblade Chronicles 2 to take your life away with a 200-hour game as well. I love Xenoblade Chronicles. I have the first game on the 3DS, and then the second, obviously I don't have a Wii U, so I can't play the other ones anymore. But it's other than the weird British voice acting, I love the world, and I love the fact that you can just walk around and you see all these, mech things and just all that. So I'm happy it's being made. But God, I wouldn't have a problem if it got moved into later in 2018. There's a lot to play still.
yeah.
And you still got Super Mario Odyssey coming next month. I mean,
Yep. Have fun with that.
that's gonna be awesome. I can't wait to play that game. That's gonna be so good. All that. Stop showing transformations though. Like, it's cool. It's a cool thing. Just stop showing it, because then I feel like we're gonna see them all.
No,
So,
I think this game's gonna have like hundreds of stuff. So
maybe not, but yeah, it's just still. They showed a lot of Mario Odyssey. Kept showing worlds for it, which is it's awesome how many worlds they have for this thing. This is definitely going to be this is going to be in huge numbers for the Switch. If you
yeah,
didn't buy a Switch already, people are going to be in droves during the holidays trying to find one of these. The biggest surprise, I think, is that Doom and Wolfenstein 2 are coming to the Switch. I didn't expect Wolfenstein 2. I thought they would kind of continue with their let's bring out the old games, and you might get Wolfenstein 1 and the Old Blood first. And no, they just went ahead and straight for Wolfenstein 2, which is coming in 2018. Doom is actually going to come out this year, and it looks really good. I mean, obviously, it's going to be not as good as the PS4 and Xbox One version, but
yeah, man, it's missing Snap Map. Fuck the Switch version.
yeah, Snap Map. That's still cool that they got that on there, though. So I am continued to be impressed by what is getting on the Switch and how much support it is starting to get. Obviously, when you keep being the highest selling console month after month, beating PS4 finally, that's gonna raise people's alerts. I don't understand Capcom though saying that they're waiting, even though Super Street Fighter at $40 sold a bunch. They're now waiting for what's the game that's about to come out or has come out for the Switch that now they're waiting for that to do well. Like Bandai Namco's hesitant. It is trying to judge how Xenoverse 2 does on the Switch before they come out with that new Dragon Ball Z game they're making that you were talking about. They don't want to put that on the
Yeah.
Switch yet until Xenoverse 2 sells well. It's like, really? You guys are expecting a game to come out almost a year ago, all of a sudden to set the Switch on fire? I think that's kind of unfair, but
Did you
How
see
do you
that?
feel about that? Like, using an old game that's a year old to say, okay, if this game doesn't sell well, we're not bringing something else to it.
I mean, that was EA's playback last year or last generation with the Wii U. It's like Mass Effect 3 didn't sell well. I was like, no shit. I was already a year old after the fact. I mean, yeah, they're hedging their bets. It's kind of a shame, but every company does it once in a while.
Like, I
think
can
Capcom.
understand EA with FIFA right now because that's still kind of coming out in the same time frame as the other ones, but I don't know. This seems weird for them to do.
Did you see that? Speaking of the Switch, did you see that Reggie said a few days ago that they quote unquote over delivered on the Switch at launch?
Yeah, I saw that.
That's what a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, he's saying that they should have had less stock, and because they had more stock than they initially anticipated, it's such a PR thing. Like, why even say that, honestly?
This is going to tie into something else. He said a few weeks ago, I think, like, about the SNES Classic, like, don't buy scalpers, like, $200 consoles or whatever they're going to sell it for. Like, don't worry, we're going to have plenty at launch and plenty through the year. And I thought to myself, like, dude, like, you have no cachet with that stuff because the Wii U had supply problems. The Wii especially had supply problems. Like, the 3DS had supply problems. The NES Classic had supply problems. Like, can you honestly say with a straight face, like, we got your back on this? It's like, give me a break.
The thing is, for me, it's like they've even announced that the NES Classic is coming back.
Yeah, and next year.
And I was like, hold on, you guys just said you weren't making anymore, and then, hypocrisy.
To be fair, they're still not making anymore. They just found, like, 3 more pallets in the warehouse full of them, so they're going to ship those out instead. See, it came back, and there's only 1 per state, so good luck trying to find it.
Yeah, that's I do think that on this next go around they'll be okay. I think people that have wanted that thing already got it. So as far as the NES Classic goes, it won't be that big a problem. But I think for the SNES Classic, I mean, people are really wanting that thing. And
yeah, I'm getting mine in a few days.
Yeah, I just don't. I think people are once again, we're underestimating the power of people wanting something.
Well, it's estimating nostalgia. I mean,
yeah, and then there's more nostalgia. The more you make these, like, let's say you make an N64 or whatever classic, or like, the closer you get to this generation, you're gonna get more and more nostalgia. So, you can say what you want about, oh, well, that was going to the grandpas and all that stuff and everything else, but there's more people around right now that know what the SNES Classic, the games that are on that, and you're going to have maybe not our parents looking for it, but you're going to have a lot of people,
Our age.
casuals our age, that don't play games, that are in the workforce and they don't have time for that kind of thing, especially with seems like more and more games are getting into the okay, well, you got to have 50 hours to play them
Yeah.
thing. They're going to want to reach out for that, and especially with it including 2 controllers and basically being ready to play with your friend out of the box. I think Nintendo's underestimating again, and
Yeah.
we know what
I'll be
happens when
sure.
that happens.
It depends when you do the next show, but I'll make sure to put on my eBay link for my console. Just
Well, yeah, hey, I'm sure Mark will still find a nice deal for his, because there will be people that
oh
want
yeah,
it now.
I
And
this is unrelated, but about a month and a half ago, I bought a used copy of a game called Clock Tower for the PS1 at a local resale shop for $2.11, and I sold it on eBay a few weeks ago for $70.
wow, see, and he wasn't marking it up. It was just
No,
those people that had it at the retail shop had no idea what that game's worth is,
yeah,
and yeah, it's rare.
yep,
So yeah, it will be just like this SNES Classic will be, and yeah, let's see. I do think it's nice they're gonna have both of them there, and they're gonna have to have a lot of switches because Mario is gonna come out and it's gonna just carve a path to do those things.
yeah.
Then you also have a Kirby game on the Switch called Kirby Star Allies. Their co-op Kirby games always do much better, I think, than a lot of the single player ones now, because it's such an easy game to play. Thankfully, I already have a 3DS, so I'd be won that Pokemon 2DS XL thing, but don't have to worry about that. Octopath Traveler looks awesome. Same by the same people who make Bravely Default, so that's going to be really good. I'm glad we're having RPGs like that on the Switch. And yeah, I mean, obviously the biggest news is Doom and Wolfenstein 2 being surprises, but hey, you also got the arcade stuff showing up on the Switch, which makes everybody start thinking that maybe the Virtual Console's not coming in the way that it was.
No,
So,
because this is just like Nintendo's own arcade games. Like it's not
yeah.
like it's different because Hamster has been putting out Neo Geo crap for the Switch for months now, and no one bats an eye. So it's
Yeah,
just like
they've been doing okay, and they come out for the other systems too, for PS4 and Xbox
yeah.
One. But
So this is saying like they're not going to release like, oh, here's this, here's Super Mario Bros. 3. I mean that's just not going to happen. But like the arcade version of Mario or Punch Out, sure, because those are weird and different games than like the home console versions.
I still think that, depending on when they release this, because now their online thing's not coming out until sometime next year. If, say, Microsoft does well with that Game Pass thing, and I have not seen numbers at all, which they don't have to review until whenever their next investor thing is.
Yeah.
Nintendo might, if people still talk about it, Nintendo might consider a, Nintendo sort of similar thing. And that might be the best way to deal with the Virtual Console. You still have the option to buy it outright if you want, but you can
But
also
yeah,
do
just have
that.
like a rental, or not a rental, but just essentially kind of a rental.
Like a Netflix
Yeah, like you're just
Nintendo.
streaming the game. Yeah,
And I think it's probably going to wind up being like PlayStation now, because I can see Nintendo probably being really scared about letting you download them and whatever because of hackers. But that which probably wouldn't be good for Nintendo, because we know how they are with online anything. They just now patched the cell phone app so that it will work and not completely just make your phone
take out.
unusable while
Yeah,
you
take
have
over
it.
your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So who knows how that's going to work, but it's also a good way to up the price of their very cheap. Not that it's cheap in the way they make it, but it's very bargain priced online thing. So if you say, okay, hey, there's this Netflix thing we have now, and we can charge you $30 a year instead of, $20 a year for it, or charge you $9.99 a month instead of $3.99, I think it's makes it more worth it for them. So
I agree with that sentiment, but also I think Nintendo is like, well, we're going to sell these games. We don't give a fuck about anything else.
I think it's also something that says a lot about they're not letting you even own those SNES or NES games that are going to be part of that either. So.
Yeah, because they could have easily, I mean, maybe not easily with the Wii, original Wii, but they could have easily done a Netflix for Virtual Console for the Wii U, and they didn't do it.
I don't think that was, the precedent wasn't out there for that yet. But I think...
I mean, yeah, but they could have been trendsetters. I mean, they could have been trendsetters with that.
Come on, we're looking at the Wii U, and I think at that point...
Yeah, that's the point, though, is they're not going to take the initiative with this stuff. That's my kind of ultimate point, is I just don't think they care, or they don't see the point.
You're right, and also, I mean, they have the things that show that people are willing to buy these things 2, 3, 4 times. So yeah, much like Square does with Final Fantasy.
I mean, if you think about it, I mean, there are probably people who have, like, an actual Zelda Link to the Past cartridge for the SNES. They bought it for the Wii when it came out. They bought it for the Wii U when it'll come out, and they'll buy the SNES Classic. Mm-hmm. And it has that game on it, so they'll own 4 copies of that one game. And when the Switch, if the Switch ever gets its act together and has, SNES backward compatibility, they'll buy it there too.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the thing. That's Nintendo knows they can get away with that. So
yeah.
But I think that's the biggest thing for me too, is that they could easily do what Microsoft and Sony do. You tie it to having the online service, and you say, okay, you own this Super Nintendo game or this Nintendo game for having our service once a month. But the fact that you're giving us multiplayer for these games, which also limits the games you can put on the service, which is kind of dumb.
Yeah.
But then you're telling us, it's only there for that month, and that kind of, I mean, it doesn't say you can't go and buy it separately, but it's still kind of like, don't tell us we're getting a free game, but then you only get it for that 1 month.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that will have to be one of those. Whenever this thing actually happens, Nintendo will probably have more to say on it. Players Unknown Battlegrounds has sold 10 million?
Yep.
Now, and they are getting in the news now because they are worried about Fortnite because Fortnite recently announced a Battle Royale mode while also accidentally enabling Xbox One and PS4 crossplay, which shows how easily that can be done, apparently, if Sony ever said yes. So, hey, Sony, once again, putting that out there. It'd be so nice if, I could play things. Like, I don't have anybody that, hey, like if, I don't have this problem, but say if I only had an Xbox One, or, hey, we do have somebody on staff, Austin, who only has an Xbox One, and if I got WWE 2K18 for PS4, most likely I get it on Switch, but either way, I could play with Austin multiplayer, so it would be nice.
See, you talk about, you say this, like it's Sony is it's their fault, or like you're blaming them, but like I've always said, last generation, Sony wanted it, and Microsoft said no. Like, there was an article on Kotaku someone dug up from 6 years ago about Defiance, that MMO, that like shitty sci-fi thing, that it was a PS3 running the game with Xbox 360 players, and the guy was like, the guy asked Microsoft rep, he's like, can this work? And he was like, no, like it can, but we're not going to enable it. It's like, well, good work on that one.
I bet Microsoft wishes they could do that for Final Fantasy 14 right about now.
I bet they wish they could do it for a lot of stuff.
Yeah, just saying. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it is about who's winning the console war or whatever. But I guess there's always that hope that maybe somebody will.
You didn't talk about it, or you just mentioned it, but I find the lawsuit or the like.
I was getting to that. The
go
Players
on.
Unknown Battlegrounds saying that they might take further action on this is hilarious to me. But
it's like, okay, then if you're gonna do that, then isn't the dude who created Battle Royale just gonna sue you then?
Well, not even that. Like H1Z1, they're the ones that sort of have the same mode. They're the ones that Players Unknown Battlegrounds took their whole thing from. So they could sue them, and you could start a whole lawsuit for every time somebody takes. You know how many times Rockstar could have sued someone for taking something from GTA? I mean, come on, you're setting an awful precedent. I get it that one of these is free and the other one is paid, which might make it a little bit different, but.
Well, you still gotta buy into Fortnite. I mean, it's still like $40 or $50 or whatever.
Right, but this mode is free to play, right?
Yeah, but even pub games is cheaper than that.
Yeah, but the stupid part that I kind of agree with is basically you're just giving Fortnite free press.
Yeah, and also, dude, it's Fortnite. No one gives a fuck about that thing. Like.
Well, I don't think they'd be making modes for it if nobody cared about it, but.
Yeah, but Epic is still working on an Unreal Tournament game. Like, when was the last time you ever heard about that?
Sorry, I had to let the dog out of the room because it kept barking. But no, I have not heard about it at all.
Yeah, it came out, like, I think a few years ago. I think it's still in early access, what they call early access. And it's like, no one cares.
To be fair, I don't really even hear anybody talk about the Quake game either.
Yeah, either one, because there's Quake, the new Quake Champions or whatever it's called, and that Quake Live thing. And it's like I can understand pub games, like, somewhat what they're saying, but no one cares about Fortnite, and it makes you guys kind of look like dicks, and you're not that original to begin with.
No, exactly. That's the point, though. Like, nobody can throw stones at the other because there's always a game company, a publisher, a developer that could say, well, you took that from us. How about we sue you? And it just becomes a big old lawsuit all the time. Like, it's just, like, come on, just stop it.
I want Activision to sue anyone who uses perks in a game now.
Yeah, exactly. Like, come on. It's so dumb. Like, I just think that they're, again, like you said, this makes them look like dicks. I get it that you're worried about it, but just let it be.
Like, Fortnite, or them putting this mode into Fortnite is going to mean Fortnite is going to sell 10 million copies. Like, they're gonna, like not at all.
Yeah, no, and I think basically it's just people are already set with Players Unknown Battlegrounds. The game is sold very well. They're not going to stop playing that game to play Fortnite and then play a mode that's like Players Unknown Battlegrounds or whatever. It's not going to happen. They're just going to stick with their thing. It's like people really love Overwatch. If another game that comes out is like Overwatch, they're not going to stop playing Overwatch to play that.
I want like id Software to sue anyone who uses Team Deathmatch in a game.
Yeah, it's God. There's so many. You could go down the list. Metroidvania, Nintendo and
Konami.
Konami should be suing anybody that comes out with a side scroller that does this or that or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just stupid, just stupid. Talking about vampires, Vampire got delayed until 2018. So
That's a
it's
bummer.
apparently, yeah. I mean, were you interested in the game? I don't.
Yeah, like I mean, it's made by Don't Nod. I got a feeling it's going to be kind of it'll be an interesting but flawed game. I imagine.
That's what it felt like to me. I think, they've been steadily working on this. They showed more of it off at E3. It's kind of unfortunate that it's a now solved technical issue that makes it to where they have to delay it until the spring. But hey, and maybe they'll have more people be able to play it at that point. And now they can focus, I guess, on more Life is Strange.
Also, like this hasn't been a good vampire game in years. Also,
Hey, so come out and be the one that has a good vampire game. So gives them more time on that. I should have mentioned this. We were talking about Square-Enix earlier, but they are now seeing the light that a lot of people have already kind of been doing for years. Expect to see more multiplayer-minded games from Square Enix as the company continues to embrace the concept of games as a service. They go on to say that gone are the days in which single-player games were primary status and multiplayer games secondary. Lately, multiplayer games have taken the lead, pretty much. We know that. So many games come out now, and it's a service. There's DLC that goes on long after, which is why Final Fantasy 15 is just basically having monthly updates at this point.
yeah, I played a little of their Assassin's Creed DLC, and it was strange.
So what do you do in that sense?
It's fucking literally Assassin's Creed, but in the Final Fantasy 15 game engine. It's really weird.
Huh.
Like you literally like assassinate people from like the tops of buildings and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's now I've completely forgot what we were talking about, but
Assassin's Creed and Final Fantasy 15.
So it's pretty much.
I mean, it tries to be, but it's not like you can climb any building or anything. Like it's very linear with like you can only cross like certain pipes across these buildings or like stuff like that. So it's kind of weird. But you literally like wear Assassin's Creed robes and everything. It's like,
I am sort of interested in. I know you can create your own character and look the trailer look kind of weird for it. The multiplayer
yeah
thing. So is it just gonna basically let you play the game in co-op or?
I think it's supposed to be like mission based.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I understand what they're trying to say, like, but maybe if your games weren't so like blown out, like you wouldn't need to create like these games as a service thing.
Yeah, I think for 15 though it was more about a make good.
Yeah, I mean I'm not saying like 15's bad. Like 15's a great game, but I mean like the whole 13 problem,
right?
Or like their games just get so over I would say over scoped, and there's just no way they can make money on it. That's why they think all their American games like don't do well because they're insane. They have like crazy sales. They have crazy sales demands and stuff, and it's like, well, maybe if like Final Fantasy 15 didn't cost like $150 million, you wouldn't need Hitman to sell 8 million copies.
Well, I think it's just they decided to make Final Fantasy 15 the way they did. I think it works out for what they wanted it to be.
Yeah.
Almost every RPG is sort of open world now, so, and then almost all of them get like oodles of DLC afterwards. So,
Yeah.
but I agree with you. It hurts when they make smaller games, or when those smaller games don't sell as well, or if you put Tomb Raider out the same day as something else that's huge. Guess what's gonna happen? So
Yeah.
yeah, you gotta be smart about all these things here.
Yep.
Sometimes they are not really.
No.
There's somebody named Capcom that loves going back to their old franchises all the time. And the next one is Okami, which comes out December 12th on. And this is another thing that's stupid, right? Like, this game is old. And you're giving it away. You're basically almost giving it away for $20, and you're not gonna have this on the Switch. Like, dumb, Capcom, dumb. What are you waiting for? Again, but I'm just complaining. This is a game that I think would work really well in that aspect. It's a game that it's so pretty, and it's so pretty in a stylized way that you can use it to show off to people, and I guess you can use it to show off it in the 4K and all that stuff, which that's what it's getting. But
Yeah, but it's still
yeah,
gonna. I mean, it's gonna be up-res a little, but it's still gonna look the same.
right.
And I mean, I'm bad day one. I hope we get a review copy, but I'll play it again. It's my third copy when I get it.
And for $20, it's not bad,
Yeah,
So
because I had it
that's
on. I have a PS2 and PS3 version.
that's another thing too. If it was on the Switch, Capcom would probably charge $40 for it, because there's like a $10 upcharge, I guess, if it's
or
on the
or,
Switch at
or
all.
they'd add in like really bad touch controls, like draw the symbols
Yeah, you
instead.
have to draw the thing with your finger, and it messes it up. But my point in saying all that was that we now know why we haven't really seen. And a lot of people have been asking about this. Of course, we have a guy on staff that his favorite game is Conquer, and we make jokes about not seeing Conquer, and this is why. The rare executive um, says that basically he thinks it's dumb to go back and either remaster games, or just bring out the old game with a lot of or new game, quote unquote, with the same stuff that you love or that you remember. He says that just making them again with whatever technology is available today, that's not Rare. I think that what Rare is doing the kind of games that only Rare would do, which I guess Sea of Thieves would
He,
be.
he then followed it up by go out and please buy Rare Replay.
If I went and said to Rare, hey, go remake all that stuff that was kind of successful at the time, but make it up to date, I don't think it would be good. I don't think it would be relevant, and I don't think people would really want it. I think they might
Yeah,
think they do, but I don't think they would.
yeah, because the last decade of Rare shit has really knocked it out of the park, hasn't it? All their Hot Connect games, and that's about it.
I think that all these remasters that go out there and sell hotcakes would bear to differ with this guy.
That
But,
also, like the
uh,
last game, like Rare has made, I think it's 7 games in the past decade, or like maybe like 8 or 9. Only 2 of them have been good. 3 maybe.
what I'm saying is CFDs is probably going to be good. What I'm saying is, I think if they went out and made a Banjo-Kazooie collection and upresed it and everything else, people would buy that.
Sure.
I
Or if
mean,
they finally got their act together, or the licenses together, made like a new GoldenEye, or like a
yeah,
GoldenEye remake, or uh like another. I would actually be interested in another Perfect Dark.
yeah,
Like
I
I
would
think that
too.
would be interesting take, or I'm one of the few. I actually kind of dug Perfect Dark Zero.
Yeah, and I think almost all of their characters, even Conquer, you go and remaster that game, or you go and make another one, or whatever. I think it would sell well. People would want that. I get what he's saying though. Like he doesn't believe in that whole doing what Capcom does and
No,
yeah.
yeah, I mean they're not porting Resident Evil. I mean Resident Evil, they ported Resident Evil Code Veronica to the PS4 for God's sakes. Like that's not
Yeah.
going to fly. And like the rare, I mean I joked about it, but the rare replay was a good value and a fairly good historical perspective on the company. But if they made another Grab by the Ghoulies, or Knack got a fucking sequel, but Cameo can't, it's like, come on.
Yeah, seriously. I think they just have a bad there's a bad stigma with Cameo for some reason. I really like that game, but I know a lot of people that didn't. So
Or I mean, like I said, like I'd be in another Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, like make a sequel, or really blow it out or something. Like that'd be fun.
there's another
Or
game that is.
Viva Pinata too, or something. But
I love Via Pinata.
it's like just for the last decade they made Connect crap, and they made the two non-Connect games they've made in the past 10 years were Viva Pinata. It was an expansion, but still.
Right.
Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, and Killer Instinct, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, and Killer Instinct is people really like that game. They keep making seasons of it.
I mean, they aren't, but yeah.
No, they aren't, but you get what I mean.
Yeah.
It's I applaud him for saying this, right? Because there's people that take it too far. I've said it 3 times already. There's people that do it well. Like I think Sony does it well.
Yeah.
They did Crash
who
Bandicoot
don't.
justice.
Yeah, or Wipeout, or Ratchet and Clank.
The Shadow Colossus remake looks like it's gonna look really awesome. So.
Yeah, but companies like Capcom and Square don't do it well.
Yeah. Square's fine.
No, you can't say that with a straight face.
The PC ones are fine. The mobile ones suck, but I haven't had a problem with the PC remasters.
I mean, they're essentially just up-res ports. I'm just talking about like when they announced Final Fantasy VII a few years ago at E3.
Oh, they take their sweet ass time, yeah. But...
No, I don't mean the remake. I mean like and now Final Fantasy VII, it was a port of the PC version. They announced that at like E3 at Sony's press conference. That was hysterical.
Yeah. I mean, but what did you want them to do, though? I mean...
Not announce it? Like, just say, it's available now? Like, they don't need to spend 5 minutes hyping up the audience like they tried to do?
I agree with you. They could have done it like they did with 9 at the TGS, but I think that was more about trying to leech off the people being excited about the remake. Oh, you can play the original 7 like in 2 weeks or something.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay.
I think Square isn't as bad as Capcom, but Square does have that problem.
Yeah. Again, I do think they're smart in basically saying we're going to get almost all of our library on Steam because it makes money there. And then we're going to do what we can with PS4 because people will buy these. But Capcom just seems like they are obsessed with we're going to have us. And credit to them, though, for being upfront with it, right? Because they were upfront. They said, we're going to spend a significant portion of our time remastering or remaking older games, and we're also going to give you new games as well. But yeah, that's still crazy.
Yep.
The Nintendo did have quite a few more things that I should have mentioned all together with the other stuff, but the Switch, as I mentioned, is the was the biggest seller for August. No surprise. Madden, biggest seller for August with 5 days in the month. That's still pretty impressive, whether it's Madden or not. Uncharted is third, and it had 9 days in the month. So not too bad there for Uncharted as well. Grand Theft Auto 5, my God. This game does not stop selling. It's second. The hell? Like, people just keep buying that game, and
I think it's the number one selling game, like physical game. I think at 80 million copies.
Good God. I mean, credit to them. They keep adding stuff to it. But it's just like, wow. It's insane to me that it's still selling. Splatoon 2, Breath of the Wild, of course, has the new DLC, so that makes sense. Mario Kart 8, Deluxe. Rainbow Six Siege still selling well. Modern Warfare Remastered is on here. Crash Bandicoot and Overwatch. So, hey, Rare. There you go. For the third month in a row, Crash Bandicoot is on this thing. So, next time you say that people don't want them, they think they want them, but they don't. Pretty sure people want them.
No, man. People want Kinect Sports Rivals instead.
There is according to Reddit MMA, Nintendo could add achievements to the Switch. Thank you, Nintendo, for adding something, I don't know, that's like millions of years old at this point.
Yeah, two generations old.
Yeah, welcome to the Xbox 360 generation.
Yeah.
If you finally add these, they should have been in the Wii U, for God's sake. There's also that weird controversy with the stuff with now the games are going to need the SD card. Well, no shit, people. No shit. Like, they only had 32 gigabytes of storage in the Switch. I mean...
Yeah, here's the problem is, like, it's NBA 2K18 that has the problem, is there's only 25 gigabytes of storage available on the Switch. Like, if you formatted it, 25 gigabytes total. The game requires 22 gigabytes to install, which is large, but fine.
Right.
And it requires 5 gigabytes for one save file. Why is that?
It requires like a permanent 5 gigabytes in your
on the Switch memory
system. Yeah, on the Switch memory
to save. Why? Like, why is that save file so big? Hello?
I think what it is, though, is that just like how, okay, if you install something on the PS4, it still has to install a portion of it onto your drive, even
Oh
if you
yeah,
bought the disc.
I mean it's fine because games are large and that's perfectly fine. My issue is it's a 5 GB save file. Like, why is it that large?
Are you sure it's a save file or just it's the game file needs that 5 gigabytes to make sure it runs well?
The thing I saw was it's a 5 GB save file, and for an additional save, it's another 5 GB.
That
That might be
seems
wrong.
weird that it would be the save file and not just to down. Yeah, because actually I was listening to somebody talk about it would not allow them to install the game if you didn't have that 5 gigabytes available on your system.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a save file. I think it's just to make the game available on your Switch, period. You need the 5.
No. It's the NBA save file is 5 GB. Yeah, I'm looking at it from Nintendo today, and apparently they can get corrupted.
Ooh, that sucks. Wow, that's weird.
So,
I don't know that, but
so
it's one, like, you don't have to make a 5 gigabytes for every single mode that you do in the game.
no, but it's
Right, yeah.
okay. Here's a good comparison: the save file for NBA 2K18 is 5 GB. The entire game file size of Mario Odyssey is 5.7 GB.
The difference between Nintendo making something for their system to
Yeah,
a third party.
Yeah, if I was Nintendo, I would tell 2K to get the fuck this, fix this or get it off the system.
Well,
Get
but
out of
they
your minds.
don't want to, though.
Yeah,
But
but remember,
isn't it? But don't they have that problem with like whenever Dragon Quest shows up, it's gonna be 32 gigs, and that's
probably.
already been announced. That was announced like a long time ago that they said whenever Dragon Quest shows up, get ready. You have to have a SD card because it's not gonna fit on your system at all.
Again, though,
Yeah.
that's why that's why Doom isn't going to have a multiplayer, or the multiplayer comes as a optional download.
Separate, yeah.
Like that, I'm just saying, I don't mind big game file. If I had a Switch, I'd get a 120 GB SD card and say, have at it. But it's the fact it's the save file itself. That's my issue. Remember when PS3 and Xbox used to have requirements. Remember the old 360 patch limit or their game download limit. I'm not saying Nintendo should go back to that, something that draconian, but say, yo, save files should be under 500 megabytes or under a gigabyte, not taking up 1/5 of the system memory.
Fair enough. I just think, I get it, but they got to just work with these third parties, and they're gonna kind of do what they're gonna want to do at this point because Nintendo needs the third parties. There's got to be a reason though why they need it. I can't imagine that it's, something.
Yeah.
Something just arbitrarily unnecessary. I think that they got to have it for a reason. But yeah, so I've mentioned WD2K18 a couple of times here. Their My Career mode apparently now has 2 different story paths for this year, which is something I think I've said that they needed, and many people have wanted to. You can also go back to the old style of being able to move around backstage and see other wrestlers and have them get involved in your backstage save as well.
I assume one is the wrestler career, and one is you playing as Vince McMahon booking the show.
One is the company man, which has you aid and side with the general managers doing whatever it takes to help create and maintain the GM's vision for the WWE. You'll also gain access to Vince McMahon's office and get upgrades. The other is the fan favorite path, which is you focus on gaining respect and All the stuff that's normally in the career mode, basically. Yeah, and then you get to have a WrestleMania moment or whatever. So what? So like one, you're the Vince's assistant, and the other, you're a wrestler.
The Pat Patterson mode.
Yeah, the Pat Patterson. Okay, that seems weird,
Like,
but
I guess more story
an
modes, like,
improvement.
story mode is good for like, for that type of game, but there are so many more underlying issues than the story mode in that game that unless they said like, "Yo, we finally fixed the collision system," like that'd make me interested. But
Oh God, would they ever fix that? Like, I don't think any of the sports games can really fix that. Like Madden still has that problem. I mean, all of them really do.
yeah, but it's a lot less noticeable in every other sports game except for WWE.
That's true because you're constantly going against each other all the time. So I don't know that they can totally get away with it, but they can also patch it constantly.
If they finally said we're giving it to someone else other than Ukes, that would be a nice first step.
It would be nice if they got away from Ukes, but they won't at this point. Atlas is teasing that they might do a Catherine 2, which is awesome because I really loved Catherine 1. So.
Now, I didn't play it, but here's a question. Did you like Catherine 1 because of the characters in the bar, or did you like Catherine 1 because of stupid block puzzles?
Both. I like the block puzzles, and I like the story too.
You're one of the few. Like, I know a lot of people who liked the idea of Catherine, or like the hanging out in the bar and stuff, but like they just watched YouTube videos of all the block puzzles because they just didn't like it.
No, I agree because the block puzzles get annoying after a while.
Yeah,
they get ridiculous. But I think if they had different, like not just the block puzzles, if they had different gameplay mechanisms, then okay, cool, great. I don't know that you can basically just make it, have it swap with Persona either. Like I wouldn't want that. Like I want Persona for what it is. I wouldn't want Catherine to also be an RPG with a different story.
Instead of capturing personas, you can capture demons and then have them fight for you.
So Shin Megami Tensei, you say?
Yep.
Which apparently next month we're going to find out more about the Switch version of that game, so we'll see how that goes. American McGee, after all this stuff with him saying, no, there won't be another one, no, I don't want to work on another one, now he apparently does want to work on a new Alice game.
Yeah, he is a very not creative person, I don't think.
I liked Alice the Madness. I wouldn't say it was great. It was a good game for what it was.
I think Alice and Alice Madness Returns are fine enough games, but every time he has tried to strike it out on his own, he's always failed spectacularly. And you can't just keep going back to that Alice well.
I guess he feels like, well, he needs to in order to keep it going, and then maybe he can go at it again.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is he's trying to make a half dozen other games, and they've all been bad.
Yeah.
He made an episodic game a few years ago called Grimm. That was like fairy tales, and that was like no one cared.
Nope. And then you had A Wolf Among Us come out and do it a million times better.
Yeah.
So doesn't help you at all when you're trying to do something and somebody else just completely beats you to the punch on there.
Yeah.
And finally, for game stuff, the IOC says that they are very happy to bring esports into the Olympics, but nothing that promotes violence. So that pretty much takes out about 90% of esports.
Well, what about stuff like doesn't the IOC have like things called like wrestling or like isn't that an
Wrestling
Olympic
is
sport?
a sport, though.
Or like fencing or
You're not trying to kill the other person.
maybe not how you wrestle.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how New Jack wrestles, though. I mean, come on.
That's why New Jack is not wrestling in a major company anywhere. So pretty much this means like Rocket League sports games, which I wonder if, Madden would be okay, EA would be cool with like Madden and,
Well, I got
NBA
the whole
2K.
Madden Championship or whatever.
I wonder if like something like Smash Brothers would be given a pass because it's cartoons. But
I mean,
I'm
I can
starting to
understand
rack my
it.
brain at what games you could do for this.
Like, if they don't want to have like, Mortal Kombat or Counter Strike, I can understand that they're M games, they're violent, stuff like that. But like Dota 2, like it's all fantasy violence, or like even Smash Brothers. I mean, like you said, it's violence, but it's cartoony, and I think it's an E game.
I think it's teen.
Oh, whatever.
But like the thing is though, it's just you're really limiting what you can do with esports because almost everything is either a shooter, fantasy violence, cartoon. In Smash Brothers case, the cartoon violence, or you have it's one of those genres is your main esport.
Yeah.
So, okay, now we get the sports games, the racing games again, like, and those are also sort of still in that esports realm, but it's just like, you're really gonna take a chunk out of that, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I think it's limiting. They're not saying outright no, but it's so limiting as basically to say no, like in and of itself.
Yeah,
Like
I get that you don't want to promote violence, but it's also a game, right?
I think like Rocket League, like it's a popular game, but that's not like an Olympic. That game is not big enough to be like an Olympic stage. I wouldn't think.
I don't think they would care. I think the whole point of this is they don't care about how big. Now, obviously, they're not going to go get your dinky indie game that has no any kind of following or whatever. But Rocket League has a big enough following. What they care about is that they just want esports there.
Yeah.
So, like, I guess Hearthstone could still be a big, thing.
Yeah, but I think that's too complicated for people.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's too much that they have to teach them or whatever. But, yeah, I mean, you're really putting it down to a certain number, and this really just shows that if you're going to start saying, okay, you can't have violence in the game or whatever, then you just really just want esports to be there in name to see if you get young kids to watch it. And that's the thing, though. They're not going to, if you're wanting the young kids to watch for the esports, it doesn't mean that they're going to, I guess you always have that plausibility that okay, well, I'm going to be watching the Olympics, maybe I'll watch other stuff, but they probably won't. And they're still only going to watch for those esports, but I guess their whole point is if I'm still getting the young kids to watch it, whether it's 2 events or it's better than nothing, but I don't know.
Yep. I guess I just saw on Twitter that Target is supposed to get minimum of 20 units of SNES Classics on release date per Target.
Wow, that's damn good. That's about what Walmart got for the Switch. So I guess if I have a change of heart, I could probably do the same thing like I did for the Switch and walk up to my Walmart Electronics and it'll probably be there.
Yep.
Star Wars Episode 9 got delayed to May 24, 2019, and J.J. Abrams is back as the director.
Yeah, that I mean, he probably won't get fired like the other two directors, so that'll be good.
So excited to see what Ryan Johnson does with this year's episode 8, and I guess we'll have J.J. Abrams back to direct the finale. So that's good, at least. It's kind of weird because I think he said something about, I don't think he wanted to be involved with it again, but must have offered him a lot of money to make sure he did. I'm sure, and something that you're not going to be too happy about, the fact that it exists at all, but this seems to be something that DC is going to be doing now. They're going to be doing an extended universe, and they're going to have like just individual origin films for some of the characters. And the first one looks like it's going to be the Joker. And because Martin Scorsese is a producer, they're trying to get Leonardo DiCaprio to be Joker.
Because that's what you do. You have the big crossover films first, and then you have the origin story films later.
It is an origin film of a villain, though.
Also, well, there's two problems. First of all, I think the second Batman film that Nolan did, that was a good enough origin story for the Joker. Like, it wasn't this Joker, obviously, but who cares? Second, like, the Joker has no origin story. So, that's an issue.
There is no origin story for him in the comics at all? They've never made one in all of them?
No, there is. There's been, like, 4, though. So, you pick and choose. Or, like, it's been retconned and, changed, or he says one thing, so
right,
there's at least 3 different origin stories for that character.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they would be doing their own thing, but I almost feel like they're trying to make this the Departed Joker. With the tagline that they're giving this as Leonardo DiCaprio would play the Joker as a gritty crime boss in a Scorsese-esque Gotham. Okay. I guess it would they wouldn't go into too much of the psychological, like, internal stuff with him. It'd be more of the just him being a villain. Okay.
Also, like, I don't care about the Joker. Like,
there are a lot of people that do, though.
I mean, yeah, but not after Jared Leto fucked him up.
Right, but it's probably also why they're not having Jared Leto play this either.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like I would have more problems with the Harley Quinn and Joker thing than this.
That's gonna be bad too. Although, did you see that? Whatever his name is, the director of Batman and Superman, whatever.
Zack, whatever.
Yeah, Zack Snyder. He's officially gone from Justice League, and he's not going to be in, like, around for any of the other DC movies. Like, he's kind of walking.
He's awful.
Yeah, well, he's walking away from it because his daughter died, and then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. Like, I'm kind of curious about Justice League because I envision like half that movie looking like super dour and depressed and like bleached out of shit, and the other half being all colorful and like having good characters. So it'll be like a weird mismatch of scenes. Like, I know it's not going to be like that, but it'd be so awesome if it was.
I'd imagine it will be fine. I'm not, but you got such low expectations at this point that they don't have to do a lot to, improve upon. Suicide Squad was fine though, so.
No, it wasn't.
I know some people that like it. I mean,
I got some videos to show you then later on.
And HBO is also going to be producing their own Watchmen series that's going to be much more based off the graphic novels and has nothing to do with the movie that came out.
See, I know we were just ragging on Snyder. I don't mind that Watchmen movie that much. Like, it has some small issues, but I mean, overall, it's fine. Like that.
I don't have a connection to the graphic novel, so it doesn't bother me.
I mean, I read the novel, and I actually do have another I have a copy of it. I mean, there are changes to it, to be sure. Like especially the ending is kind of changed, but it's kind of like it's just kind of like doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things.
Right. Understand.
And like some of the costumes were kind of weird looking, but that's kind of about it. Like he nails most of that. I think he actually nails most of that comic. And the only other weird thing is like the fighting. You know, the slowed motion and then sped up. You know, that crap is just annoying. But other than that movie's fine.
Yeah, I do think with HBO's history, though, I think this would be kind of cool to see it as a series, and not going to complain about that at all. They have a wonderful history with making things. Why not let them get in the game? It's dark, and they like their dark things over at HBO. So why not?
Yeah,
go ahead.
I have faith in HBO. Like they make mostly good shows.
I would agree with you on that. There's some that I don't like, but for the most part, I've pretty much liked everything that they've made that I've watched. So.
What's your favorite HBO show?
Probably The Wire at this point, other than Game of Thrones.
I'd say The Wire, and then for me, probably Oz.
I still haven't watched Oz. I need to sit down and watch it. It's just one of those where.
How old your daughter? Like 7, 6 or 7?
I normally don't watch shows with her around anyway, so.
Yeah, but watch Oz with her. It's a nice family-friendly show.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I've also tried to get into Curb Your Enthusiasm and Sopranos. I've kind of had a hard time trying to continue to watch those, but yeah. I also love Big Little Lies. Totally deserved all the Emmys it won. I love that show. But yeah. So that being said, pretty much your game's coming out here next week, or by Friday. A lot of them are coming out Friday, but next week, Hob, the I forgot there was some Steamroll Dig 2 coming out.
They came out yesterday.
Yeah, that's true. The Batman Enemy Within episode 1 and 2 are coming out together. They're doing that again, which is probably smart.
No, it's just episode 2 because episode 1's been out for a while.
Jeez.
You're behind that.
It's bad. This thing that I'm looking at is bad. Drop Mix came out on today, Friday, or it comes out next week. That is almost sort of like a board game thing that the people from Rock Band are doing. And you also have FIFA 18 coming out. Of course, everybody's been waiting for that. Cuphead. Woof.
Finally.
Yes, Cuphead. And Star Fox 2, of course, coming with the SNES Classic. Yeah, Total War Warhammer 2 on the PC. So
the hottest game of the year.
I'm still considering whether I want to get FIFA or not. It's been a while since I've played a FIFA game, but love me some soccer, so it always intrigue. That Danganronpa V3 Killing Harmony also comes out next week. So yeah. All right, man, we went really long because there's a lot to talk about. Sorry about that, but yeah, we'll again try this being weekly thing, see how that works, and yeah, so until next week, hopefully, if you enjoyed what you heard, we are now on iHeartRadio, so you can listen to us on that as well as everything else that we're on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn Radio. We're in partnership with ForumMania.com, W2Net.com, everything else. Thank you for listening. We appreciate it. Give us a review if you can. Hit that subscribe button. And until next time, see you later, everybody.
Later.